Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Buying a used car can be a real headache, but it doesn't have to be, thanks to Big Al's Pre-Owned Blood Engine Emporium. Gas? Too expensive. Here at Big Al's, our certified pre-owned blood engines run on 100% red-blooded American blood. That's right, blood! Stop thinking of friends and family as loved ones and start thinking of them as fuel. We've got cars of all makes and models. Have bad credit? Who cares? So do we. We accept firstborn children on all our pristine vehicles. So come on down to Big Al's and take home the murder machine of your dreams today.
This is Texas Podcast Massacre.
Start your engines. It's time for the 11th episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me are some network executives or representatives from the Heart Foundation or Association. Nate.
Everybody tastes the same on the griddle.
And Lisa.
Have you seen the price of gas lately?
No, I haven't.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So welcome back to another episode. Each week, we take a look at a different horror movie. We discuss some news, and we debate some horror-related topic of interest with our unsuspecting victims. A little few changes this week. First, we're not really doing a movie. We are going to actually talk about a television show called Blood Drive that is on SyFy Network. And also, unfortunately, again, our unsuspecting victims party just a little too hard at the Mayhem parties this week.
I saw some of them go near cars, and I didn't see them come out. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
So unable to find someone to fill in. So it's just going to be us three. So welcome, Lisa, once again. You are representing all of the unsung heroes, all the other unsuspecting victims.
All the cheerleaders driving on the side of the road in this show.
You guys are welcome.
So we will go ahead and get started then with the news.
First eyewitness account came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent.
So coming out just now, actually, is a new movie we wanted to highlight called It Stains the Sands Red. And Nate, I think you actually keyed me into this one.
Yeah. So I saw this. I just saw this just randomly looking around in the news. It's an interesting looking movie. I'll definitely check out. Basically, the zombie apocalypse happens near Vegas, and this lady who makes questionable decisions kind of gets stuck in the desert.
Isn't makes questionable decisions a part of every horror
Yeah, I mean, they're in
movie?
Vegas. I guess it's redundant. I apologize.
We wouldn't have this podcast had they made sound decisions and still bad things
and they're
happened.
and they're going to Vegas. So again, the problems. But no, this lady's with a guy who's also pretty questionable, and the zombie apocalypse happens, and their car gets stuck, and it's just this lady stuck in the desert with the zombie just coming after. Kind of It Follows-esque, where she's just walking, and the zombies just slowly shuffling toward her, and she has to figure out how to survive in the desert. She takes naps. Obviously, you got to take a nap every so often. And then the zombie's there, and she's got to figure it out, and it looks pretty cool.
What's it coming out in the theater or Netflix?
Oh no, it just came out on VOD like about a little over a week ago.
Yeah, so the
okay.
original release was actually in 2016, kind of on the independent horror movie film circuit kind of thing. I think it looked like it won some awards. And it's from the same people that did some of those, I think, the 8 Films to Die For. I thought I remember one of the titles.
So,
I can't remember. Like Grave Encounter, I think, was the movie. I remember seeing that with one of my college buddies. I don't remember being very thrilled with that one.
Yeah.
but
this one
but
looks
the
very
trailer looks
interesting.
actually very,
Yeah.
It's supposed to be kind of a sort of a different take on the zombie film.
Well, it's kind of like a one-on-one kind of cat and mouse with a zombie, which is why it makes it a little
zombies,
little
but not a horde of them. It's we kind of talked about that in the Train to Busan episode. You know, is it the numbers or something else? So yeah, I'm interested.
It sounds interesting, especially since Nate was describing it to me earlier, and it's like you said, the zombie just doesn't stop.
Yeah, the zombies don't sleep. They just kind of shamble toward you at all times.
Shambling along.
You're in the desert.
And I guess in the desert, you don't have anything to make a weapon out of. So I don't know, but
A cactus.
You can make like a sand
that's what I'm
moat
wondering.
or something.
Just throw scorpions at it until it stops. I don't know.
Because we've seen so many movies lately where there's like in Housebound, she was pretty resourceful. Even Ella the monkey was pretty resourceful. So it'll be interesting to see.
Look, Ella the monkey could survive.
Oh yeah,
majority
she'd be
of
fine
these horror
Anywhere.
films.
Yeah, but so I'm curious to see if she tries to, do anything to stop the zombie.
I mean, Ella could take care of that zombie, no problem.
Yeah.
As long as
really
the zombie
easy.
doesn't know to start playing some slow jams right toward the end, I think that is good. So the other news article I did want to bring up then is, I think what everyone's kind of been talking about for the last couple weeks. Have y'all seen the It trailer? And
Yes.
So what did you think?
Yes.
It looks good.
It looks
good.
fantastic.
It looks creepy.
Yeah.
Stephen King's son said this is one of the top 5 scariest movies ever made.
What?
He saw an early screening, so that's kind of awesome.
What? But see here, you have to take that into context. What else is in his top 5?
He said it was Jaws.
Sharknado.
Jaws.
So more of his dad's stuff.
Well, no. Well, Jaws. What?
But no, sorry.
Stephen King. Yeah.
You think it's Spielberg?
It was,
Yeah.
His top 5 was interesting. While we're talking, let me look this up.
Yeah.
So
I'm
while
curious.
Dave's looking at that, so Lisa, how familiar are you, or how much exposure did you have to the original It?
None.
With Tim Curry?
So I saw. So wasn't it? You guys remind me. Wasn't it? There's a movie, and Stephen King was not happy with it, and so they made the TV series out of it. Or no. That's The Shining.
Yeah, you're thinking The Shining.
I'm thinking The Shining. It was just a TV series, right? A miniseries?
Yep, with Tim Curry. It was
Okay.
it essentially came out to being like 2 movies, but they broke it up over.
Because they showed it on TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what his thoughts on this one was, if he was happy with it or...
So trivia question for you while we're buying Nate some time. Do you remember the name of Tim Curry's character? What's the clown's name? What is its name?
It.
No.
I don't know.
It is a punk band.
That's
That's
not
not
gonna help.
Sang the song "Fuck Authority."
No. What was
That
it?
doesn't narrow it as much as you think for the punk genre.
Well, I have to say,
that's like 20 at least. The name is Pennywise.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So no, I mean, I remember seeing the commercials for it, and Tim Curry's look is iconic. I think everyone's seen him as that clown.
I think Nate, I gave you a little Pennywise plush for your birthday.
yes, it's hanging up there. It's hanging on top
Sitting
of
up there next to Mario.
Yeah. And
the
actually,
unlikely pair.
in the trailer, someone slowed it down. There's that room of clowns that's in the trailer, and there's a clown that looks exactly like Tim Curry's Pennywise
Really?
on the left of when this current Pennywise runs like toward the camera. In the
Oh,
actual
okay.
thing,
That's cool.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you find the list?
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the list right now.
Sorry.
So it was Jaws, The Exorcist, The Thing, and Let the Right One In.
Okay.
That's really solid.
decent
That's
list.
real
That's
solid.
good company
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Okay.
So
Well, I wasn't too nervous about watching it, but now I kind of am.
if you guys remember, we were saying like, oh yeah, what's our most anticipated horror movie of the year? And for me, it was It Comes at Night. So I should have taken off Comes at Night,
And I think
then
I
I'd
even
have
asked
been totally
you.
right for the rest of
I
the
think
year.
even asked even more than It, and you said yes. And
Well, this one had Comes at Night at the end of it. I mean, it's got a few more words at the end. I figured it would be better, but no. But yeah, this looks amazing. There's the kid from Stranger Things is in there, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The whole group looks cool. You hear Pennywise talk in this one, like a whispery kind of extremely creepy voice.
yeah, and so
Everyone's looking good.
yeah, I'll say too. When they first mentioned, I was really actually against. I really wasn't thrilled because the original is such a classic. Tim Curry's
Is it
portrayal
though?
of Pennywise. Yes,
Is it
yes.
30 minutes of like 4 hours? I'm all in on. It's just so long. I mean,
It is.
maybe
Well, no,
that's-
it is long. That is part of the problem. But I mean, this is probably going to be just as long, if not longer, when they split it into two films.
So the first film is the kids, and the runtime is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it actually is pretty
Wait.
pretty
what?
beefy. So
There's going to be 2?
well, yeah. There's
Lisa,
the kid,
I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but sometimes movie companies like to stretch things out into a
So
couple.
in the mini series, there's a whole section when they're kids, and then there's a section when they are adults.
Yeah. Because
so
I
they're
was
doing
debating reading the book, and so I read that. But so this is the first movie. They're
the
going to
kid
make
movie,
another one,
and then the adult movie is the second movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it definitely
so if
went
I read the book, I only need to read up until where
The
they
the
grow
time,
up,
the
and
fast
then
forward.
I can
Right.
read the rest later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a long book, like over 1,000 pages long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You're like, Gone with the
point,
Wind, which one do I...
Right.
They're so similar, it's tough to pick.
My point really is just that I really wasn't looking forward to it, but after the trailer, I'm starting to kind of buy into the hype.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still trying to be, I let you talk me into It Comes at Night being the next thing.
Nerve shredding.
I bought into all that hype and it was terrible. So
Maybe if you would have seen it, if the screen would have just been dark, like this night, It Comes at Night, and then maybe the movie would have been better. But
and then just at the very end, it just shows up.
yeah,
Pennywise just pops
they
up.
could just play this trailer. It would have been a better
my
movie.
gosh.
That movie sucks.
So for all those of you who were going to watch or are listening to this podcast in a random reverse order, we have just saved you the
Yeah.
time.
Go back and listen to the episode if you want to hear hilarious jokes about how bad this movie was.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's it for the news. And so we'll move on to the debate question of the week.
You probably have quite a few opinions, but it's important to remember one thing. You're wrong. Here's why.
So the grindhouse genre, these are films that are kind of close to my heart. I love these. To me, these are the type of horror movies. And when we talked about the gore films last week, these are kind of things I really enjoy. Just they're over the top, they're schlocky, they're meant to be shocking and ridiculous and offensive, and I love them.
Mitch here is exploitative. He's like, I'm in.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, one of my favorites is actually Hobo with a Shotgun.
Sure.
Don't know that not really horror, but certainly. Well, I mean, depends on.
Horrible.
It's Grindhouse.
Yeah.
Hey, it's got the main lead kid from Everwood on there.
Hold on.
Do it. It's horrible. I'll hit it.
I didn't get to reach the button fast enough, so, but that happened. We've added some more drops to our listeners'
Yeah, there
pleasure.
we go.
Okay, so God. Okay, so this question of the week I want to ask you both is, I think y'all are at least somewhat familiar. I mean, when I say y'all, you, Lisa, somewhat familiar with Grindhouse movies. What is your favorite trope from Grindhouse movies? Because a lot of them share very similar characteristics.
Yeah.
Very similar, sometimes plot points.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
So I'm going to preface this by saying I'm the complete opposite of Mitch. Grindhouse is not my cup of tea. The over-the-top, ridiculous, just violence and all sorts of stuff. I can't get behind it. It doesn't interest me. I was thinking about this though. I think the only thing that I could pull out of it that I actually think is interesting is the whole replacing like one of your limbs with a shotgun or a hook or a sword or an axe. I don't know, some sort of weapon.
The old axe hand.
Yeah, come on, old axe hand.
So the original like Evil Dead with
Well, Army of Darkness with the chainsaw.
Army of Darkness with the chainsaw
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah, and
Although
then
the chainsaw came in Army of Darkness 2, right? Or Evil Dead 2, right?
That was Army of Darkness.
Well, Army of Darkness, though, he has it, and he has
Yeah.
the shotgun. But I thought
okay,
the
I see
chainsaw and the hand actually
Yeah.
comes.
Well, and then
Evil
there's
Dead
also
2.
then Planet Terror, right? Has the
Right. She's got the
machine gun leg.
Yeah,
right?
Rose McGowan, yep.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting. I think it's using your surroundings, right? I mean, not only will it help you walk, but it'll help you attack.
So Lisa, you lose a limb in a nightmare scenario.
Ugh.
What weapon are you attaching to that limb?
Yeah, like the zombies get you. You cut your
Oh.
arm off before the virus gets, or the whatever the zombies are spreading.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
so
zombies.
So it's an arm. So you,
Well, it could be-
you
it's-
lose your arm.
It doesn't matter. It could be whatever.
Yeah, you lose your arm. What do you got?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know whether I'd go for like a knife type thing. Like, I mean, not a short knife, but
Well,
like,
and remember, in Grindhouse movies, zombies typically are also like emitting some sort of sludge and some fluids, and it's very like over the top, green, viscous, gross.
I'd
nastiness
probably
that's
go
coming out.
with a gun, but my concern is that it would be hard to reload it one-handed.
That's
So I'd have to figure out some way of.
you're already overthinking the grindhouse more than maybe you should.
It's
Oh, sorry, I forgot I have unlimited ammo, right? So
Absolutely.
that's fine. Okay.
absolutely. Nate, what about you? What's your favorite horror movie trope? Or not horror, excuse me, grindhouse.
Yeah,
trope.
so for grindhouse, I really enjoy the large amounts of blood. That's a nice trend that runs across all these kind of movies.
Oh yeah.
Like more blood than is human, like that than the human body could even have on like one slash, right? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
someone slashes and like someone just throws like 5 water balloons full of blood. It's like
Limbs
awesome.
just come off so easily.
Yeah,
in horror
maybe I would
movies.
combine that with limb loss. Limb
Yeah.
loss plus blood loss.
Yeah.
Those are good. So when Lisa shoots someone, like when Lisa shoots one of the guys coming after her with a shotgun, like his arm, his arm comes off.
Explode.
Yeah.
Not even the arm would explode. There's one movie called Ricky O, The Ballad of Ricky. It's a like Vietnamese.
Talladega Nights? Is that what this is?
It's a Vietnamese sort of grindhouse, like really crappy kung fu sort of film.
Okay.
But like literally, he punches a hole right through someone, and it comes out like almost like looks like a can of like dog food, where it's just like you just see the layer.
So no, it's
but it just pops
Kung
out.
Pao. It's like Kung Pao.
Yes, but
Okay.
but like grindhouse gore.
So like a worse production values than
Another,
Kung Pao.
and I mean, he's in this prison. Like some people are getting shoved into like a meat grinder, and
Okay.
there's always a meat grinder sort of thing.
It's called Grindhouse. I mean, like, you got to stay on brand. I mean, it makes sense.
No, I agree. That's all these things are great. For me, I just always love the fake trailers, the fake commercials, like on Blood Drive, the fake commercials, and in the Grindhouse film, like Quentin Tarantino and
Yeah, what's your favorite of the fake trailers?
the fake trailers? Man, I really, it's funny because I don't like a lot of Eli Roth's films.
Wait, you say don't?
No, not Don't. But Don't is great. Don't's great, but Thanksgiving is just for the tagline: white meat, dark meat,
All will be carved.
All will be carved. It's great, and look, I mean, it's so popular they made Machete out of that because it started off.
That was
as
one
a
of the fake
joke-
trailers, yeah.
joke fake trailer.
I would have preferred Thanksgiving.
I
Thanksgiving.
went to the Grindhouse movie in theaters.
Yeah, me too.
Midnight showing.
Yeah.
The Thursday night at college. And stayed there for like the 4 hours and then went to class the next day. just powered through it. That was awesome. It's a big commitment to ask someone to sit in a theater for 4 hours, which is why it tanked. But I loved it.
I have the Blu-ray. I got all of that special features. You get to hear like Rob Zombie talking about how he came up with Werewolf Women of the SS, which is just awesome. It's so good.
Was drugs the answer?
He's like, you know what? My wife's just a terrible actress. I gotta get her in something, even if it's fake. Boom, roasted.
No. Boom, bro.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
welcome.
Michael Scott.
No problem. My favorite of that is probably I like Don't a lot by Edgar Wright. That one is pretty spectacular.
Don't is good.
Don't
Go see this movie.
I don't know. You mentioned Werewolf Women of the SS and Nick Cage's
As Fu Manchu.
As Fu Manchu.
Ah, the best.
I mean, because he went all in on it too. It's like, hey, we only need you for 5 seconds, but give it the best 5 seconds of your fucking career, man.
Yeah.
And he just did. Lisa, do you remember any of the fake trailers? Is there anyone that stands out for you?
Machete.
I remember Don't. I remember Machete because I remember the day that they said they were going to make Machete to an actual movie. I was like, oh my God, why?
I believe, didn't you, Nate, me and Derek like high five each other when we found that out?
Yeah, I actually saw when Machete came out. I saw it with our friend Derek, who was a guest on Amityville Horror, and my wife. And two out of three of us liked the movie a lot. let's just say that. Just say that.
Lisa, myself, and Nate went for Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
Actually,
was great.
And similarly, 2 out of 3 of us like
So
that
Hobo with a
movie as
Shotgun
well.
is super memorable for me because Man, this is not maybe necessarily the greatest venue, but one of the main characters from the CW show Everwood is in this show. So
Nate's alternate life.
And so in Everwood, this kid is like.
I think we're learning something about you tonight.
So in Everwood, the kid is he's like a piano prodigy who moves to like this rural like northwest mountain area, and he's like a total wuss. And he's like all emo-y. And then in Hobo with a Shotgun, he's like the dick younger kid who like runs everything. Like he runs the arcade, he runs all that crap.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh God, so good. And to see that guy just be a total dick, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's weird when you see those actors who are, when they play two totally separate roles. Like I always think of guy who plays Phil Dunphy in Modern Family when he's a total dick
in Dawn of the Dead.
In the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah.
Almost to the point, it's hard to watch his character. He's like, Jesus, Phil's such a dick. Like
he hasn't met Claire yet. It's all good.
I get, or yeah.
So what's yours?
No, the fake trailers.
Yeah, but okay. So
what's your favorite fake trailer?
It's Thanksgiving for sure.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And again, I find myself surprised to say that because I appreciate Eli Roth movies like Hostel and Green Inferno and those, but they're not ones that I'm like interested in. I don't care for gore. They're boring to me, and they're just Grindhouse is over the top with sort of a. I think Grindhouse, I like it. It's over the top with no real reason.
It's laughing at itself.
Yeah,
partially.
It's we're doing
Not
this
too
to be.
serious.
It's almost absurdism.
Yeah.
Eli Roth's films are very much. I'm over the top with the gore
serious.
and the violence to drive some sort of point about. In Hostel, it's about the darkness of humanity and how people are paying to do stuff.
Green
for Green Inferno,
environmentalism,
environmental, but also that we look at this and we're terrified. This is their culture. This is sort of and we're trying to we have this kind of. I guess it's subverting this image I think we have in a developed nation of these indigenous people and how they're
they're trying to help them, and then they're like, fuck you. Now this is my feeling about Eli Roth. And when I was in high school, we went to go see Cabin Fever.
Okay, yeah.
And of course, and I'm as always, I'm super persuasive getting people into movies. And then we watched the movie, and then we just I was eating popcorn. We're sitting there, we're not really talking, right? Watching the movie. And then I get out. One of my friends punches me in the shoulder and said, "We should have seen Matchstick Men instead." That tells you everything you need to know about my feelings about Eli Roth movies.
No,
he's no Matchstick Men. Let's just say that.
No. Well, anything else around Grindhouse films in general y'all want to talk about?
Hey, we're gonna hit on pretty much all of them. In
absolutely, which is one of
the
great things about this week's show of the week. Because it's not a movie, although I'd still watch it if it was. This week's show of the week is Blood Drive.
In the distant future of 1999, a global fuel shortage has ravaged civilization.
Nice ride.
But instead of going green...
Have you seen the engine?
We went red.
Fuck. These cars run on human blood.
Have you seen gas prices lately?
Midnight Grindhouse presents Blood Drive, a twisted new series almost too depraved for cable TV, where a violent vixen and a Ken doll cop compete against psychos in a deadly race for the...
No one cares about story. We told you that.
Yes.
That's right. No one cares about story.
Everyone missed Mitch headbanging and throwing up like the hands.
No, that riff is sick, man. The show. So it pretty much explained what the show is, but I'll add just a little bit more context. So this is set in a near dystopian future, although I think it takes place in 1999.
Yes.
This is after a horror. Essentially a natural disaster kind of threatens the way of life. Now there is a death race where cars run on human blood as fuel, and a former cop is forced to take part in it. The great thing about this show is that each episode is packaged like an individual Grindhouse movie. So, instead of it just kind of being a bunch of stuff all throughout. I mean, there's several storylines obviously that run throughout the whole show, but each one, it takes a type of a Grindhouse film and kind of works through all what makes those kind of fun each episode. So Nate, I know you've got some stats for us.
Yeah, sure. So the show is in season 1, obviously in 2017. On IMDb, it's 7.2, which is pretty high for this type of show. It's an original SyFy show, right? So it's on the SyFy channel. So there's not one director of this. There's for the whole season, which is going to be 13 episodes, and we're just going to go over the first 6.
That's right.
Part 1.
So this is part 1. Yep.
But there's a bunch of different episodes directed by a bunch of people. One of them, for all you Psych fans out there, 2 of the episodes is actually can be directed by James Roday, which is really hilarious. I know you guys are probably not Psych fans.
No.
At all. But that is really cool for people who like Psych. The show made a complaint hotline. So if you want to call 325-400-3423, you can have a one-sided conversation with Slink about complaining about the show, which is hilarious.
And tell me, what are the 4 numbers? What do they spell out to?
If you want to complain about nudity, sexual situations, plot, violence. God, there's another one. But
okay, so the 325-400 DGAF. That is actually how they tag it on the show.
This show's great.
Yeah, right. And here's the 6 categories. I have it right here. So press 1 for language, 2 for violence, 3 for nudity, 4 for sexuality. These things to complain about. 5 for plot, and 6 for marketing.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, and so the main actor is Alan Ritchson, who plays Arthur, the cop.
Mm-hmm.
He's the voice of Raphael in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Oh, the Michael Bay ones?
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, and he had a small role in the cat in Catching Fire, Hunger Games.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the anonymous people, but still, that's cool. The main actress, Grace D'Argento, is Christina Ochoa, and she's actually Spanish from Spain. She's in the TNT show Animal Kingdom, which if anyone has ever watched the NBA playoff game on TNT, you've seen about 8,000 commercials for.
TNT knows drama.
And they know drama, yep. And, not in the NBA playoffs because the Golden State Warriors blew everyone out. But, and then she's also on a CW show called Valor, also this year. So this is all happening this year. So she's on 3 shows at once. So she's doing a lot of work. The character Slink is played by Colin Cunningham. He's been in many famous movie-inspired TV shows. So if you ever happen to see him in such prestigious TV shows like The Net had a TV show, The Crow, 2002's Twilight Zone, Star Trek, New Voyages, Phase 2, 2002's Dead Zone, and both Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis. So this guy's been around quite a bit.
All right.
I did not know The Net had a TV show. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I did not either.
And that's about it. I mean, this show pushes the boundaries of basically and everything you can do on cable. I mean, they run right up against probably all of the rules of what are possible. You know, outside of being on like HBO, and then you can just do anything you want, right?
Yeah, I was very surprised when they're dropping F-bombs because I was watching it live. I think you binged it. But I was watching it live on, DVR'd it and everything, and yeah, I really had to stop and look did someone screw up? Was that like a slip and FCC's gonna know this?
No, it's happening. They're 95%, 99% nudity from both sexes.
Yeah,
very sexual situations, very graphic, disembowelings and all kinds. They're really pushing the TV MA limits.
I don't know what that says about me that I'm all the blood, the murder, the gore, the sexuality, all that doesn't bother me. But them dropping F-bombs on SyFy at 9 p.m. Central is man, this show's edgy.
I don't think I knew you then, but I'm pretty sure you fainted when there was that Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing, right?
Funny story. I think I was at a party when I was younger with some of my martial arts group. A bunch of us was doing a class together, and I was just outside, and then I heard someone just say Janet Jackson's nipple came out, and it's
gosh.
huh?
And you're like, I'm still not watching the Panthers.
The Panthers.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for the the info on this. This show it's crazy that it got made. It's awesome that SyFy was willing to take a risk on something that's so interesting.
Well, there's a network that's making handfuls of money off Sharknado, and it's 800 reiterations now. I mean,
around 5 or 6. Now,
5. I think the 5th is coming out. Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe it just did because it was Shark Week. It probably just.
It might. You would think. I'm sure. As long as there's a Shark Week, there will be a Sharknado at this point.
It's true.
So
Tara Reid's face. That's horror in those movies. But I digress.
I'm just happy she's able to keep making a paycheck. I wish the best for everyone, regardless. So overall impressions of the show, Lisa,
yeah.
All right. So I didn't get through more than, I want to say, 10 or 15 minutes of the first episode before I realized I wasn't going to watch this.
Is that 10 or 15 with or without commercial?
I think I literally got to the part where Slink implants
the charges.
The main 2 characters with the charges and basically says it's the last person, the last card across is going to explode or something.
Yep.
And then I was done.
So when we discussed I think with our first episode, we discussed this coming out, and we reviewed the plot, and I remember you say, "Oh, I'm interested in this. It sounds interesting. I'm down to watch it."
I gave it a chance.
It was an asterisk.
And it failed terribly.
I'm interested. Asterisk. 15 minutes only.
Yeah, it's got to win me over. So the reason I bring it up, partly to kind of throw you under the bus, as it were,
throw her under the suck bus.
Well, how that thing moves, I don't know. I don't know how they.
We know how it moves.
These Jesus. So what about it? It kind of turned you off from it.
I'm just not a grindhouse fan. I don't go for the over the top.
So when they were feeding people into the cars in the beginning, you're like, all right, that's enough for me.
It's just everything's over the top.
What about the over the top wooden acting by the main character, Arthur? Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
I'm a cop. I'm here to protect people. I was young. Someone protected me. Okay, I'll follow you.
All right.
That's a dial.
Don't jump down there into that horde of weird people. Oh, you jumped down. Oh no.
Wow.
No.
Are you playing a drop or is that Lisa talking? Is this from the show? Wow, that's spot on. Nailed it.
Oh, well, yeah. Disappointed you weren't able to keep up with. Totally understand.
I'm not.
It's not.
That's what, 6 hours of my life I still had. That's fine with me.
Well, we're taking back about an hour and a half of it in this podcast. So.
If I last that long.
Right. Nate, overall impressions from you?
So I binged watched it, right? So I maybe have a little different perspective, but the more I started watching it, the more I was getting into it.
Yeah.
Because, it's just super over the top. I actually loved when they shifted kind of the plot to Slink, like being in a bureaucracy with this Hart Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
So they were racing, right? And then it was kind of like, all right, over the top violence, and they're mixing up, like, there's cannibals, they're coming after them, there's weird nocturnal green-eyed creatures and stuff. But when you got to see kind of like the behind the scenes of the show with Slink and when they kind of expanded him, I was like, okay, now I'm really starting to get into this. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't the same thing over and over, right? They're mixing it up enough where it's pretty interesting.
That's what I really like about it, because it's been 6 episodes and there's very little about the race at this point. They haven't really been racing a whole lot in this show.
They actually mention it in the show. They're like, it's a car race where there's no racing.
Right.
That's one of the critiques from one of the producers.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of meta stuff happening kind of in it. And it's agreed. The first few episodes, I enjoyed the first few. I've been watching them, episodically. So one a week, And what I love about it is, it doesn't ever really focus on just the race. There's threads throughout the whole show and plot lines, but each episode it truly is sort of standalone. And I agree. I love this pivot to Slink being more, they're really kind of focusing. I'm actually an episode ahead, so I won't say obviously any spoilers or anything for that, but it goes even a little further in this last episode, and I think that's to the betterment of the show.
So is it is it kind of like Running Man? Like where are they actually televising these?
Yeah, so that's essentially what's happening. It's
on closed circuit TV.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And then they're going.
Yeah,
they're going nationwide.
The storyline is that they're trying to push it to be a national television. So let's back up. Let's talk a few points of the show. Just obviously it's 6 hours worth of content, so we won't be able to hit up on everything, but it's just some things I wanted to ask y'all about. And Lisa, since I know you didn't watch it, we'll kind of describe what's happening. Yeah. And you just, I don't think we'll win you back over into deciding, oh yeah, let me go watch that.
But I can tell you how much Nope.
Lisa Grimace Face, number 5. Oh, that's a different one than the last Grimace Face.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how the apocalyptic scenario, because we talked about that in one of our earlier podcasts. In this case, it's a fracking
giant frack quake
that right through the middle of America creates what's called the scar, and it's essentially they've sent teams in to kind of discover what's down there, and it's one of the little kind of plot threads that I'm sure over the second half of the season is a lot of these medical oddities and things that they're finding came from the scar. So apparently,
the different elements for technology and all kinds of stuff.
So it's a boon in sort of technology and how they're like making the blood car engine that can uses blood.
But then on the other side, it's oil is $2,000 a barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people
are now cannibals and all over the place.
The police is totally funded and owned by Hard Enterprises. Practically everything is.
And instead of writing citations, their quotas are now knocking out and collecting people's teeth.
Yeah. Right.
And then giving them to the chief. And if the chief doesn't get enough teeth, she'll have your teeth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have turned off by that point.
And the poster.
I saw that. I saw when she was like, you didn't give me enough teeth, because that's when they go down.
They go down to investigate the race. Yeah.
But the poster inside the police department says, "We kill because we care." So it's all good. So they're still the good guys, right? We're the good guys. Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of apocalyptic scenario, how do you like this setup? I think it's we obviously haven't seen too much of it, but I think it's an interesting premise. These the show is actually, it's in my mind very, very clever and meta, I guess, in terms of what pieces and what kind of things they're kind of over exaggerating. So the fracking thing's obviously and I think even if you look at the scar where it is very kind of tongue in cheek.
Well, and obviously Hart is a company that has the resources to build androids and do all kinds of crazy stuff while people are then starving. So there's also it's a little bit of commentary there as well. But yeah, in general, the show's kind of hitting on a lot of stuff. At first, in a lot of grindhouse movies, there's a lot of rampant sexism, I would maybe say, especially in the exploitation movies. And then occasionally they turn on its head. And in this show, there's like, "Oh, I'm the cop, I'll protect you." And this lady's like, "Fuck you." I'm like, "I'm tougher and more resourceful than you." And then she totally is, which is kind of cool. Yeah. They're flipping a lot of stuff around, which I love. That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's diverting a lot. So let's talk about our protagonists then. So there is Arthur, and we talked about as kind of the good, the almost,
they call him she calls him the Ken doll.
Ken doll, yeah.
As that almost describes him perfectly.
Because he just is incorruptible. He will not waver. But he
does later. He wavers a little bit.
Well, but in terms of his mission, he does not waver.
His acting is as expressive as a Ken doll.
Yes.
I'll definitely give you that one.
And then, of course, Grace. So what are your thoughts about the two? Because they're forced to race together as a couple, insofar that if they get too far away from one another, their chips will. Oh, this is very, and I don't know if this is mentioned, but very similar to Battle Royale. They have chips in their head that could be remote
detonated,
and
or as Slink would say, instant brain jelly, which is a direct quote.
Yep, that is.
I mean, Grace D'Argento. First of all, D'Argento, great last name, throwback to a horror director. But I like Grace way more than Arthur. I think Arthur is kind of worthless, and Grace is a much more interesting character. She's got a sister who's in an insane asylum, of course, run by the Heart Institute, because the Heart or Enterprise, the corporation, whatever, because they run everything. She's got a little bit more interesting of a backstory, and she already has the blood car, so she's like,
well, Art's starting to play the muscle for her, right? Like,
but then he wasn't very effective in the muscle. He was getting the shit kicked out of him all the time. At least at first, maybe.
At first, they've started to gel a lot more. You know, they have decent chemistry together in terms of the team, not so much the acting, but the team.
I guess I guess the Christina Ochoa as Grace is I would say she's better acting than.
Oh, agreed. And the show is certainly focusing on her as really the primary protagonist. You know, in search for her sister.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and Lisa, I think you saw both of these characters. Any thoughts or comments from?
No, I mean, I didn't see enough of them, I guess, to really form a strong opinion. No. I've caught snippets of stuff later on here and there, and I mean, they do seem like they are gelling, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it's nice that the show is like, hey, look, neither of these characters are going to wear clothes a lot of the time. So,
like equal opportunity.
It is.
That's good.
Very much so.
And I'm surprised Lisa wasn't watching more of it. But no, but he's shirtless a lot of the time. She's in like a bra and panties and stuff, and they're just everyone's just whatever.
But he gets more negative, particular. Oh well. Yeah, okay. I have to be quiet.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait. That's how, I mean, you'll get a sense of what I think was. I couldn't wait to watch an extra episode.
Okay.
And so there's some more coming with them.
Well, I'm gonna segue into another main character.
Maybe I'll watch it now that you said that.
We're gonna bring Lisa in for one episode, part 2, and then it's gonna be out. It's gonna be over.
Okay, so those are our protagonists. I think their motives are pretty clear. You know, Grace is trying to save her sister.
Yep.
And then
and win the $10 million prize, which seems so you can get like only a few thousand barrels of oil with that.
But I think, and Grace is also trying to assuage her guilt a little bit because she's part of why her sister is
part of why. You mean the direct reason? Why?
Well, yeah. It's hard to. She's definitely played into these actions.
You know, it's the classic.
It's interesting to see who may be pulling the strings.
Yeah, well, it's the classic. I look away for 3 hours and you do more drugs than anyone's ever done in the history of the earth. You know, little sisters, what scams?
Right.
You know, just like snorting. Was it called red?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's red. It's red meth, basically.
Look,
right?
they're not spending a lot of time coming up with names for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Red, the Scar, Suck Bus. It's got it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the villains, or I don't know if we say villains, but the antagonists. Then, the Heart Enterprises.
Yeah.
And clearly the star of the show, Julian Slink, who is
I call him Slinky.
Slinky, yeah, the ringmaster of
God
Blood
of
Drive.
the stage.
He's great. He's great in this role. I was a little worried in the first episode because I had trouble actually even understanding what he was kind of saying.
It was a little over the top, yeah.
But he settled into it. That scene where he's waiting in the lobby at Heart Enterprises,
and
he thinks the guy's interviewing for his job, and he just straight up murders him
with a briefcase.
With a briefcase. Yeah. And there's blood everywhere. Almost slips in it trying to get out.
I wrote Slink with a briefcase in the lobby.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, it turned out the guy was doing, was going to be the maintenance lead, but hey, it worked out.
You know, and you know, as the show goes on, you find out that he's, there's something going on with how long. I don't know how old he is.
There's pictures of him in the 50s, and now it's 1999.
Looking the exact same. So. He's got sort of, for Game of Thrones fans, he's got sort of a brand thing happening, I guess. He's just kind of popping in all these different timelines, and he's clearly a major player. He's pulling a lot of strings.
Yeah.
But it's hard
But he's still part of a corporate, he's still part of a corporate bureaucracy, which is what makes him so interesting.
Right.
Yeah, he has to wait in the waiting rooms. He's the god of the stage, but then there's weird... corporate douche.
He's the artist versus the business, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
He balances out well. He's very sharp, very slick.
Yeah, it almost makes you want to watch the Net TV show just to see him in there.
And he's clearly a fan favorite. If you look at like all the Twitter references, everything like that, he's definitely. I know you don't, Nate, because you don't really like Twitter all that much.
Okay.
But.
I mean, but in terms of doing acting. In terms of acting on this show,
in terms of doing the acting.
Well, that's what the character Arthur's like. I'm going to do some acting right now. Let's start filming. Like that's the level of acting he does. But he definitely is the most. He's got the most to work with in the show, and he definitely is nailing it for sure. I mean, he's awesome. He's a great character.
There's a reason why they're building it around him.
Yep.
Lisa, you had again limited interaction in terms of.
He has a very fluffy black feather outfit.
I know who he is because he stands out. Yeah. But
what do you think of that facial hair?
It's that mixed with the hat, mixed with like the grill. It's a whole
Is that a grill or is it his teeth
That's
just black?
His teeth are black because his fingers are totally black up to the first knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's.
There's something.
So is he slowly rotting?
With that, we don't. That's. I mean,
Lisa's like swipe right.
Oh my god! All right, we can get rid of that drop now.
Oh man!
I'm so happy to put that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I don't know what the deal is with his teeth, but yeah, his makeup. I mean, he looks dirty and kind of gross, but it's fitting, right? And
but he's got flair, right?
And it's done well. It's done with a purpose, and I'm not quite sure what the purpose is, but yeah, he's certainly central.
And he's woven in throughout the timeline. He's everywhere. Yeah,
that's right. Now we've sort of just barely started to see the CEO of Hard Enterprises. So I think there'll be more coming from him. I'm enjoying too the network executives, because I feel like almost it's notes that SyFy is probably giving Blood Drive and they're working it into the script.
Yeah.
Honestly, I truly feel like this is like when they were previewing, they're like, well, we've got some comments, and they're just like,
yeah, we're gonna bitch slap you in the
drive in it.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we paid a lot of money for those car props. You better use them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's definitely it for sure.
Now with Hard Enterprises, there's another thread, and there's Chris, who is Arthur's partner, and then Aki,
who is worse acting? Is Arthur the character Arthur or the character of Chris? Who is worse as an actor? It's a dead heat. I mean,
I think they auditioned for the same role and they decided to make it.
They just flipped it. They just like, who cares? It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, Aki shows more emotions as a robot
than Chris and Arthur do as human.
I do appreciate that they kept the alien style, like bleeding out with the white pus sort of blood.
White, green. There's some green in there.
Yeah. So same thing with from the Alien movies as well. I thought that was a nice little touch. So I'll admit this particular thread is really the only one that when I watch, my eyes kind of glaze over a little bit. I don't get it.
Yeah. It started even on the first episode. So it's ran throughout the whole thing, and they're separated, and the other cop guys got a cyborg guy, and he had all of his liquids extracted from him.
My god, that's
in a variety of ways.
Getting punched in the taint was
in the taint. No, getting punched.
It was
upward.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah. I mean, and that
Lisa,
is
cringe face number one.
She full on, and that was one of those things too. I enjoy. It's like, yeah, we're gonna give you some nudity here, but we're also gonna give you the visual of her just rearing back and like this. Like Goku Dragon Ball Z straight punching right up his asshole and just repeatedly. And Jesus.
Yeah.
And then she's like, the only thing I really needed was just some tears.
Some tears, yeah.
It's like,
she got him.
God.
she got him.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I hadn't been out before that definitely would have been done.
No, it'd been well, you get to see, I mean, this guy is pretty jacked, and you get to see his entire body except for like one black line that covers like his penis. That's it. And you see
and they make sure that it's like, I mean, they're definitely selling up the whole it's a monstrous black censorship mark.
They did it for a bunch of characters though too. They did it for the cop. They did it for
Everyone is certainly well endowed on the show.
Yeah, whether in real life they are or not, they are the blacked out pixels definitely make it look.
It makes it. I mean, it kind of adds some humor to it, but it's kind of weird. Yeah. So far, all that's really come from it is just that he's trying to become essentially he ends up working in the mailroom when he decides he's going to be. He's being recruited.
He's undercover.
Which I still don't understand why he's being recruited. I don't know.
I thought he was like sentenced to work there for like the next.
They captured him, but then it was like a kidnapping to like a job interview kidnapping.
Well, maybe.
Basically what it was.
It's kind of like they're brainwashing him, like they kind of do with new hires at most companies, right? Just here's the corporate.
Yeah, and you get a cyborg guy, and now you have to work 9,000 years to pay us back or whatever.
For my day job, I don't think my admissions was, my orientation wasn't that extreme. I had to like sit through some trainings and, I don't know about y'all, I just, it was a little easier.
No one took a needle and shoved it directly through your belly button.
No.
Okay, well, that's good then.
I mean, you had to submit to a drug test. I guess that was
You had an easy day one.
Yeah, I had an easy day one. It was, this is why you need to shop around for drugs. Don't just accept the first offer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So let's talk about a few of the other racers, and we won't spend too much time. But so there's there's Clown Dick.
Oh, Clown Dick is one of my all-time favorites.
Sadly, he's dead after like one episode.
What
about Clown Dick?
The classic story of the tortoise and the clown dick, because the way he dies, he was way ahead, and then the way he dies is the Grace goes, "I hope there's some tits at the finish line." And then Arthur's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're going to die." And then he stops to talk to this lady right before the finish line. And then, of course, when he starts the car up there, they blaze past him, and then he dies.
So he's last.
Yeah. But his name's Clown Dick, and he's a clown, and every so often he would just, like, flick someone off and just drive past. Yeah. Like, he was such a... The character was awesome.
He's such a dick?
Yeah. See? The show writes itself, practically.
Wow.
And he was dressed like a clown and with makeup. So
we also have the gentleman and the scholar.
That was a surprising lover action going on there.
Yeah,
very surprising.
Yeah, definitely the scholar is not a power bottom.
No,
as we learned from the show.
Maybe he's under a car. That's it.
But yeah, they've got this. Yeah, the gentleman's a weird. I like the scholar. The scholar is kind of an interesting character.
Yeah, they kind of fleshed him out a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a little more multidimensional. The gentleman's is the typical kind of rich dick kind of
rich clown dick.
Yeah. Rich clown dick. And then let's see, we have Ribbone.
He's more of a classic baddie.
Yeah, he's the gruff outlaw kind of. And then there's a married couple in a Prius who bonded and who
they bonded over murder.
They're having marital issues, and so they decide to enter the blood race a blood drive. And then part of it is because I guess what they bonded over was killing people.
Yeah, it's like
a couple that slays together.
No, because she's killing people on her own now. And he is
she
hurt.
Got the bloodlust.
He is hurt by that.
Oh man!
Like, do you ever wonder what would happen if we had married other people? She says that while they're driving, and he's like, "I would drive faster if we had a fucking Prius instead of a car with some horsepower."
If you make the decision to join. Maybe you don't get a Prius as your race vehicle.
Yeah, but okay.
It's a Prius that runs on blood?
This is the question. Now, if it's a Prius that has a battery backup or has the battery assist, even with the blood engine, maybe you're getting more blood liters per
getting
mile.
The best blood mileage of any of the cars.
Okay, well then maybe that's smart. Well, it's a marathon, not a sprint in a lot of these races. You're going from
it's sort of a sprint
to Arizona.
Well,
that's true.
Of the legs.
Some people are driving giant trucks. So it doesn't matter.
As long as you distract the clown, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's already gone.
He's dead.
He's already gone. So now you made it to Utah, and now after that, you got to go the rest of the way.
Yeah. So we talked about. Okay, well, let me ask you this. So your favorite of the other racers? So it's Clown Dick.
Clown Dick for me. It's not.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
He's up there with the titties in the sky.
He is. He is.
The
great titty in the sky.
Lisa's already about to give up on this episode too. Lisa, so of these that we described, is there any that you're mildly like?
She's all about that Prius couple. That sounds like.
They're The Prius couple sounded interesting until you guys said they were having issues. Now it just makes
But
me sad.
they're working through it, Lisa.
Yeah, they're murdering people together.
They're starting to get back together.
They have like a cooler full of like, oh, remember this pelvis or remember this like liver from this guy we took out? Like it's like mementos.
They're reminiscing.
It's like they're like scrapbook or whatever.
Yeah,
like best moments.
They're fixing their marriage together.
Oh, this was our first gallbladder. Oh, it's awesome.
So married couple for you, probably.
Sure.
Okay.
What? It sounds like there's only 3 racers.
No, there's
4.
They focused on some. I'm sure they'll then rotate others.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll rotate others.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
there's like 50 racers to start with or something.
Yeah,
There's a lot
they've
of people.
only really highlighted some upper level ones, and there's other ones that are just kind of dying off. Okay, so yeah, I think for me, I don't know. I enjoy the gentleman in this guy. I think Gentleman's a nice. I mean, he's that narcissistic kind of heel. You're not supposed to really like him. So when he eventually hopefully gets his comeuppance, it's going to be like, yeah, like.
Then the scholar will die too, though. That sucks.
Potentially, we don't know.
Hope not.
I mean, more likely than not, the scholar's involved in how the gentleman gets.
He's just using him for his very tiny, skinny body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of that dude from there's that mousy looking kind of skinny guy that used to be in those movies for a while. Those comedy films. I'm trying to think.
Adam Sandler.
No, Jesus. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. All right, we'll just move on.
now I gotta know. It's oh jeez. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
he was in Road Trip.
Yes.
Oh God,
I can't remember his name. But anyway, so
he's in Fargo season 3 too.
Oh, there you go.
As a murderer. So he's still around.
Spoilers.
Yeah, not really. The skinny guy from Road Trip. Let's go
with that.
Yeah.
So he reminds me of that character. This is like a poor man's version of it because SyFy doesn't exactly have all the budget went into the blood and the set design.
They don't have Road Trip money.
Probably for the cars too. It's just not for the. So what I love about the show is that each episode, again, as I mentioned, is sort of like a standalone movie. So let me read you some of the names, and Lisa, you tell me if these were movies, which one would you be down to watch?
Here we go.
Okay, the first one, The Fucking Cop.
The Fucking Cop.
Welcome to Pixie Swallow.
Yeah.
Steel City Nightfall. In the Crimson Halls of Cane Hill. The Fucking Dead.
That fucking
Booby Traps. If you had to pick one,
A Murderer's
if
Row.
you had to pick one,
What? Say the third and the fourth one.
An
again?
embarrassment.
Steel
of riches.
City Nightfall, and In the Crimson Halls of Cane Hill. So,
I like both of those.
Okay, so Steel City Nightfall. So we'll kind of go through them. Dave, which one was your favorite then?
My favorite was probably. Oh man, I don't even know. I kind of liked.
How many notes did you take for this?
There are
Jesus.
a lot. I like the fucking. I like the Fucking Dead the much because it has the suck bus in it.
The suck bus is your favorite thing on the show.
No.
Isn't
But it includes the suck bus. It also has that 1950s slink fake TV show that turns into basically Night of the Living Dead.
Yes,
there's a lot of
that episode
really
is fantastic.
there's a lot of really cool moments in that one. I like that. That's one of my favorite one.
So briefly kind of talking through what kind of. Each episode, the Fucking Cop, I think we talked about because that's mostly just introductions. Welcome to Pixie Swallow deals with cannibals. They go to a diner where they're obviously serving human meat, and they have a great fake commercial for the meat ad. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, so if in the end of I gotta go back to the end of episode 1 really fast because they have sex over the finish line.
Oh yes.
Can't skip that. That is
agree. Yeah,
quite a scene.
The way because they're in last place, and so they're going to get their brains melted. But in order to, they figure out
produce enough adrenaline to block the remote control Slink has to explode their brains. She ties her shirt to the steering wheel to something. The car goes straight, and then they proceed to have sex in 2 different positions to get enough adrenaline to not die, and they basically sex spin across the finish line.
They sex spin.
Just like, I'm on top of you, but let's go doggy style so I can get more adrenaline just so I don't die.
So would it be better if they had a self-driving car?
That's basically what they did with
Basically.
one shirt.
Well, and then,
Jerry
so not
ripped
only
it.
are they
Again, grindhouse.
Not only are they banging, the car is literally spinning forward,
Right to
which
the
doesn't make
finish line.
sense. And then the soundtrack to that particular scene is incredible because it's like straight up Meatloaf esque. I'm never gonna give you. I mean, it's not like that while they're doing it. It's like, oh,
It was an alternate universe. It was human Meatloaf.
Well, and speaking of human Meatloaf, so we're back to the cannibals at this diner. He liked that little segue.
Yeah,
the fake trailer for the Cox meat was great.
Yep.
Locally
Locally sourced. Oh man! And then
I enjoyed that episode.
So Pixie Swallows is 50s style cannibal burger place, right? And when
I mean, I wouldn't say 50, but it's definitely like
it's 50s style,
truck stop,
but it was
truck
like
stop,
50s dinery kind of deal.
Little burgers, yeah.
And when Grace gets there, she says, "I'm so hungry, I could eat a dick." Which is just a quote I have to. And
did she?
highlight.
Because they got a hot dog at one point.
Well, they had the burgers. They both ordered the burgers.
Yeah, but at one point, someone ordered a hot dog. So
It
she
could have
actually
been.
eat the dick.
I don't know.
They were throwing it up later. Oh,
Yeah.
and that is the scene where the gentleman just walks out like full frontal nude on them as well.
Yeah, well, he is definitely banging the scholar guy.
Which,
but it starts on him and then it goes down. And you're like, that is surprising.
Yeah.
I did not expect this real small, skinny dude who's his driving partner to be his also love. Well, not love, sex partner. Well, there's no love involved, but
it's I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, you're right.
okay. So there's a character. Oh, one of the other drivers is called Fat Elvis, and at one point, Fat Elvis gets abducted to become more meat because they're running out. Mm-hmm. And there's a swinging door scene where the door swings and then you see him like cutting him.
Yeah,
and then it swings again, and then he's
scene,
cut off an arm, and like you see him progressing. And I wrote, "Fat Elvis has fed the building." Thank you very much.
Everyone's getting a drop.
But no, that swinging door part with Elvis was great. So you see him kind of like progressing and cutting, like his arm's gone. He's like gutting him, right? Like you see, like, and it progresses, and the door eventually swings closed after like 5 or 6 swings. You kind of see each little like sliver of time you see. Like,
that was a really cool. I think that's probably around the show when I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I think the next episode then.
Well, okay, so I have one more thing to say about that. There's a quote in there that says, "Okay, so we're surrounded by hillbilly cannibals because the main cook guy is like, I'm gonna call my cannibal friends and we'll just eat everybody because I'm tired of like piecemealing this with one Fat Elvis at a time, right?" And then I said, "Okay, so we're surrounded by hillbilly cannibals," and I was like, "But enough about Idaho already."
Oh God.
I don't know what state we were in, but it should have been Idaho.
Lisa, you look like you're fading on us.
I'm not, yeah. This is fun.
Yeah.
Y'all have
the hillbilly
fun.
cannibals was the last straw.
Yeah,
okay.
cannibalism, no. That just took it to another level.
All right. Well, that's fair. You put in the time. you made it longer than the first time trying to watch it through, so I guess there's that. Okay, so Steel City Nightfall. Let's kind of talk through those kind of briefly.
Mitch, don't hit the button for Lisa's thing to explode as she's walking away. She's still within the proper.
She can't get too far because
Yeah, she's still got to be in the range. So just heads up.
Yeah. So okay. So Steel City Nightfall, which obviously I don't know where the hell this race is taking place.
So Steel City, Utah. So they went to Arizona and then they went to Utah. Yeah.
So in this case, we have kind of nocturnal zombies. Is that
an industrial accident with like a gas additive
with a cult
caused nocturnal green-eyed monster mutants.
And there's a cult, which is always
now the cult is the guys talk in all jargon, which is anyone who's worked in a company or anything. This jargon was on point.
Oh yeah.
They stayed on message with all this jargon. They were praying and they said, "Hail synergy, for it provides us with low-hanging fruit."
Oh yeah, that's right. God,
And their god is basically a Dwight Schrute bobblehead that they worship.
That episode's so good. Yeah, at least I would have liked that.
Yeah.
That I don't know if that one's my favorite, but it was certainly one of the better ones.
It was when Slinky, my boy Slinky, is on a conference call with the bureaucracy, and one of the producers says, "Hey, we need more clown dick." Oh, and then the green-eyed mutants are called glimmers. They call them glimmers. So, yeah, the glimmers, eventually overrun everyone. But of course, in classic grindhouse fashion, their blood is basically nitrous for their blood car engines. So, of course, it totally works out and it ends up being amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we move into in the Crimson Halls of Cane Hill. For me, this may be my favorite episode.
Is it because it has Kane in it? Like the wrestler Kane?
Oh my God. No.
But yes.
I love the setup for this. That the opening. This is about when they start doing the pre-show openings, where this one was the candy commercial. And it was just
Smacks.
Yeah, Smacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it leads right into all of the this is the Insane Asylum episode, and it's showing all of them with getting the sugar overload and basically descending into chaos.
Addiction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is where we say goodbye to Ribbone.
Yeah, Ribbone, he was all right. He's no Clown Dick.
No.
Clown Dick died the previous episode. After that, I was kind of checking out.
We'll play that Boys to Men song afterwards in memory of Clown Dick and Ribbone. May they rest in peace.
Dust in the Wind.
That's not the song, but yeah.
No, I know.
But yeah, this is my favorite episode. I enjoyed it. And again, you're getting a lot more story development about what's happening with Grace's sister. This is where we see a lot more about her backstory, what led them here, because this is where she thinks her sister's been.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, and I loved, again, the music in the show is fantastic, what you mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing Monster Mash when they go into the insane asylum, which is pretty great. And they're like, have these Halloween things on. And then the cop guy's like, hey, it's July. And they're like, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty awesome. And then I wrote this episode has the milkening of Christopher Carpenter.
Oh, is this? Yeah. Okay.
He gets milked in a variety of ways that are, let's just say, unpleasant.
Yeah. And I think from there, there's not a whole lot of plot points in these episodes. They're mostly just, gory.
Yeah, I guess the backstory with her sister was interesting. So, they go to a club somewhere at some point.
Well, because she's trying to meet with the main
Primo.
El Primo. I don't know if it was El Primo. Maybe I'm saying that, but yeah, the Primo guy who won,
the winner of the blood drive.
Yeah, the last one. Yep, and. You see Slink's DJing.
Yeah, I said
clearly
DJ Slink.
That's what I mean. He's clearly pulling the strings and possibly part of what Grace is directly involved, but there's also a piece where it's like, well, maybe she was led this way.
Yeah, I wrote down. Okay, so Mitch, what did you? So now, actually, Lisa's gone, so this is perfect. Mitch, what did you think of Grace's club outfit? She definitely.
Jesus.
Well, the reason I'm asking is kind of a major plot point, right? So
Right.
Grace goes with her little sister Karma to this club, and she's trying to get the eye of the Primo, and the Primo apparently likes women who are as scantily clad, as humanly possible, and so she takes her already slinky outfit and then removes most of it.
Right.
But it works, right? So she's hanging out with them.
Yeah, I mean, mission accomplished, except that your sister's now addicted to Smacks and Red.
Yeah,
or Blue.
I guess we're supposed to think, in the course of a few hours in this club or one evening in this club, the sister goes from shy girl who didn't want to go there to the biggest red meth head in the history of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Because the doctor says, I've never seen someone do so much drugs.
Yeah.
So you just go, the chick's just 0 to 60, like in like 0.5 seconds.
Right. And even when she's like yelling at it, it doesn't seem like she's that out of it. I mean, it's not like, yeah. So I guess more to be seen on that because we still don't really know what has happened. But it come to find out she's not there, of course.
Of course, yeah, that would be too easy.
We're 4 episodes in.
The princess is in another castle,
and they're driving a 2-seater. So,
yeah.
So I don't know what they didn't really think
Throw
of
in the
what
back
they were going
or the
to
trunk,
do.
something.
Right.
Figure it out. Put the cop in the back, probably.
Well, then we move into what I have to assume is your favorite episode.
Oh, yes.
The Fucking Dead.
Yes, The Fucking Dead is this.
Which, again, starts off with that nice 1950s Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Bieber.
I'm surprised it's not a thing. Leave It to Beaver, but it's the Slinks, and, it's Julian.
A son who they accuse of having condoms under his bed.
Yeah, the whole wholesome thing. And then all of a sudden the zombie just they
just come through the door and his family just gets
everyone.
destroyed and he's just still narrating. Yeah. That was fantastic. Very Night of the Living Dead. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And it was, again, zombies are always a common thing in these grindhouse films, but
yeah. But they use it more of a side thing. Yeah, it wasn't really a part of the story.
That is brother and sister who apparently has some genetic trait that allows them to basically make out with these people, and that's what really starts.
They spread a virus, a
virus that makes everyone just go to town over and over.
I have a question. So I've alluded to it numerous times, but there's a thing called the suck bus in this episode. Do you remember how much the suck bus costs per minute, Mitch?
No, I didn't.
Take a stab at it.
I'm going to say $1.99.
It's $2.99 per minute.
Oh man, so that was close. And that was a random stab in the dark.
Yeah,
I went with like an app price.
It says it on the outside of the suck bus, just in case you didn't know. But no, this episode is so good. I mean, yeah, there's basically the. Throughout this episode, there's so many cool things that happen. They basically are kidnapping Slink to try to get information about her sister because she wasn't at the insane asylum.
Yeah.
While that's happening, Arthur goes out, the great actor that he is, and he tries to basically be Slink to the mayhem crowd of people, and it is not happening. So instead of doing it, he tells his dad jokes, and he's basically getting booed off the stage, people trying to murder him. He eventually then just goes roid rage, and starts fighting everyone to get the crowd what they want. He ends up uppercutting a granny. I don't know if you remember catching that. He just straight up punches a grandma, sucker punches her. And they all just uppercut. She goes up in the air, feet, lands.
Like old
is
school
bleeding
Shaq
from the
food,
mouth. And she gets up and starts smiling. It gives him a thumbs up.
These people party too hard. That's why we have no
How is his grandma alive partying with these people? She should have been dead forever ago. I love how the 1950s brother and sister, apparently the whole town died because Slink had this virus thing, right?
Yeah, that was unleashed, and they survived, but no one else did. Yeah.
And it's they're like, all right, so Two-Face already did the coin, right? The coin flip. Mm-hmm. There's already been some other people. Let me do some origami incest questions and try to figure out what the answers are.
Yeah.
So like a magic 8-ball, I'm going to do an origami.
And I love that the way to stop the virus was for them to give into their urges, and then Slink just shoves them in that meat grinder.
Yeah, so since they're immune, the sexual liquids that they produce are the antidote for everyone.
And it just splashes on everyone.
Well, no, they gather it, and then Grace puts it in a hose and sexually sprays it. But we're really skipping some of the important parts. There's phases of this virus, right? So the first part, everyone's kind of getting horny. Okay, that's easy enough. Second part, everyone's getting having sex with everybody. The suck bus is rocking. Okay, for sure. Then all of a sudden, blue goo starts happening, and then that's when it gets a little weird. And then basically, I guess the last stage is they're having sex to death. So they're right. That's right. That's the way they were having sex, and then you get ripped in half. It's holy shit! This is.
Yeah, and again, SyFy is showing as much as they possibly can get away with in terms of.
Yeah, this was the one that really pushed the. Limit.
So apparently, you can go and look at actual complaints filed with the FCC, because I know there was something came out about some of the wrestling ones, which is it's funny to me because people are posting they don't realize it's fake.
Oh, sure.
and I'm curious, if you can go and see what people have complained, legitimately complained about this show. I'm sure it's.
Oh, this episode probably topped the charts in terms of how people complained.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and move to the last episode for this part 1 review, which is Booby Trap. So this one very much I guess how would you describe it? The Amazon women? Basically, it's an all women society where the men are milked.
It was Apocalypse. It was Tina Turner and Thunderdome meets Wonder Woman.
I think Futurama did it better. With Snoo.
Sure.
That was basically kind of what happened. And it's funny because there's a spa for the women.
And so at this point, Christopher has been kidnapped. We barely even mentioned him, but it's kind of boring.
Nothing's really happening except that one notable.
Yeah, he's been milked. He's there, but now he's basically like android screwing up the corporate ladder. by the time this episode happened,
he started in the mailroom,
and now he's a security guard.
Now he's security guard
because he's having sex with an android. I mean, this show is awesome.
And his little interaction with Slink was pretty cool as well, where it's with the sideways doors.
Yeah, another good camera work kind of thing. It was kind of like the Fred Astaire dancing on the ceiling kind of thing, but with SyFy. Pastel blue and pink puke coming out of them.
And to SyFy's credit, it's awesome. They're really just allowing them to just tell the story they want to tell. It doesn't seem that they're really.
There's not a lot of constraints. I don't think. I wonder what the constraints have been. Like, what could they have been doing? Which is crazy.
Right.
The best quote from this is, so Chris, is having sex with the android, and he says. In a relationship, he's like, "Hey, I'm not coming home tonight. I'm getting a drink at the bar." And she like crushes something, right? And she's mad. And he goes, "Sometimes, relationships, they're hard work and shit. Sometimes you lead on me. Other times I do what the fuck I want." The classic relationship advice from Chris. So that's great. I wrote down.
Well, and I remember when he says that. And in her head, you can see like the options. And it's like maim him, castrate him, kill him. Be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this episode has this is like the Mad Max episode. I wrote, this is what Mad Max would look like on a $25,000 budget. They got some motorcycles, couple cars.
Yep.
That's it. Kind of a cool car chase-ish. The motorcycles ramped over the cars. That was kind of cool. But in general, they were done in by a cardboard cutout of a tanker truck.
Yes. So with this episode for the Amazon women, there wasn't a lot of big plot points outside of you find out that these women were all with Grace's sister when they escaped. They set up the society.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're saying that she died in the revolt. So as far as we know for now, Grace's sister is dead.
Yes.
Although I'm sure she's not.
I can see her coming back.
Sure she's not.
With this show, who knows? She'll probably be an android or something.
Slink probably knows exactly where.
Yeah, and I guess it's sad that Lisa was too blood drived out, but basically there's a room that they go to that is basically like a blood portal, and there's weird doors. And I was gonna say this is like a grindhouse room of requirement. Oh, because everything was in there, and there was teleporting, and there's all kinds of crap. I'm like, oh my god, this is like Harry Potter. It's great. Now, one of the highlights of this was there was one of the guys getting milked, which I said guy in spa bro douche number 5. He was talking about him getting milked, and he mentioned that when he was getting milked, that they were milking his clam ram.
Oh my god!
And I was wondering if you had ever heard of that, because I've never heard of that phrase ever. I don't want to ever hear it again. Also, although I did bring it up
somehow it didn't even register. I totally forgot about that.
Well, you're welcome.
But I love that the guys that are milking are all like the stereotypical like bros.
Oh yeah, like just.
Yeah, because they're all drinking beers right after. Like, yeah, bro, you get used to it. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, because of the way that the spa was run with women basically having men as slaves and then milking them, I'm assuming Lisa's okay with most of this. Because all the women are getting massages and mud things and all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
we'll never know. So,
what'd you think about the android outfits? Because this lady is wearing a variety of outfits throughout the show.
I don't know what to say that you think I'm paying attention to the outfits in this show.
Because I wrote down in the beginning of the episode, she was wearing like a poor man's Lilu outfit from Fifth Element. She's wearing all these like weird outfits and stuff. I'm wondering, like, she's an android, right? Yeah. Like, who is providing these things? I guess this company is insane.
I mean, she apparently ranks high enough up the company. So yeah, I guess they're They got to have their androids looking nice.
I guess. I don't know. I'm just that was a question for me to the people who make this show. Right. Hopefully they listen.
Well, why don't you call the complaint line and ask? Actually, so on the show, I don't know how you saw it when it binged. I don't know if they keep it on, but I know when I watch on DVR, they have like I don't know if those are like real like people to actually transcribe, like they're transcribed actual messages people are leaving, and some of it's
really?
Yeah, some of it is actually like ridiculous. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's people like making jokes, but one of them was like needs to be more blood or more boobs or something like that. Sure. I mean, it was all like ridiculous. Some of it's like, I don't understand how this is on TV. Get this off. like actual complaint. It's funny.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Anything else, I guess, to wrap up the review for this part one?
Not really. There's so many ridiculous things we can't. There's so little time.
Yeah.
But man, I recommend just maybe people checking it out and seeing if it's kind of up their alley. Because if it is, if you like a couple of the episodes, I mean, yeah, you're in a real good spot. It's pretty awesome.
So this week, because of this show, it doesn't make sense to do it what you would have done differently.
I have one.
Well, fine. You know what, Nate? Then let me ask you, what would you have done differently?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So real quick, so I have a what would I do differently, and it's for Slink, and Slink starts out as the god of the stage, right? He's running the blood drive. All of a sudden, he kind of gets called in. He's like, "Hey, your performance review is not going super well." Slink doesn't have. I think if I was him, I would do some like intercompany networking because he does not have a lot of allies and mentees or mentors in this company. And I think if he would have played the game a little bit more, Blood Drive would have been a lot better. But because he's antisocial, killing people with briefcases in the lobby, he's having a way harder time at work than he needs to be having.
Man, I get you, but at the same time, I mean, this is his vision, this baby. I like it. He's not, and he's even then he's still sitting in there and making the effort. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
maybe have a friend in there.
Yeah, make some friends at work.
Yeah.
Hey, it makes it easier.
Oh, agreed.
Don't kill everybody you see.
Right. Yeah. For me, all right. What would I have done differently? I don't know. Check the health inspection records for a place you're eating at. If you're,
I don't know if there's a lot of health inspectors around anymore.
And also, again, this is a dystopian thing. Like,
yeah.
The meat was good.
Too good to be true.
If you really...
it's a too good to be true situation.
Like, okay, I realize it's human meat, but like, it's fine. You're obviously not going to throw up the thing you ate earlier, so it's not like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're digesting somebody.
Again, just pack some snacks or something. Don't always trust the food you go get. If you're really worried about your nutritional value, do some research ahead of time.
Yeah, that's true. I do have another one for Chris. It's the classic don't fall for the android who tortured you. I mean,
well,
if someone's going to torture you,
when
probably don't fall for them.
When someone's that intimate with your booty hole, that's it's I guess it's hard. Not.
Well, if it was me, I would do it differently. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, how else do you handle that relationship? You can't just be like,
someone's handling the relationship.
I mean, God, that's what they do when they like you. What do they do when they don't?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Do you have any award you would give out for this first half?
Yeah, you know what? I had an award, but I'm giving best clam ram to Chris for satisfying the android.
Right.
I had another one, but I totally changed it.
I think I'm going to give the award for most reasonable rates to the Suck Bus. It's $2.99 an hour.
A minute? No, a minute.
A minute.
No, it's a minute.
That's still reasonable. That's still better than most of the phone lines you can call into. I'm sure.
I'm sure Hart Enterprises owns all of those phone lines.
Also true, and hopefully it's not all Slink on all of them. With that, let's get into the final cut.
Final cut.
All right, Nate. So just for this season, so we're gonna give a rating. This won't be our final rating, but it will be just. What I'm curious about is, does the show progress from this point or get worse from this point?
Sure.
So, just on the 6 seasons, what would you give it?
Okay, on the first 6 episodes, I mean, I guess overall I'm pretty positive about it. The really good camera work, good music in certain spots, pushing the TV envelope. The writing can be terrible, and the acting can be terrible
The
too.
dialogue's not solid for everyone. They're clearly handpicked. Like, they're clearly giving the best lines to Slink, to Grace.
Yeah, I mean, Arthur has the versatility of probably the Tin Man at this point. So he's not really that. But I love the corporate. I love the corporate storyline. So I'd probably give this one. Oh man, I don't know. I'd probably give it 6. 6 man burgers.
Oh, nice.
Probably.
I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 suck buses.
7 out of 10 suck buses. Okay.
Yeah, because I agreed. But I actually, again, I went into this knowing it was going to be kind of terrible, but it's been terrible in a good way. Like, even the stale acting, like from Arthur and all that, like, I feel like it's done sort of on purpose. I think part of it is he's also probably a little limited as well, but I don't. It's not one of those where it's just this guy just couldn't deliver. It matches what the character is supposed to be.
You get past it pretty easy. It's not continually like a problem.
I don't roll my eyes every time he's on the screen.
Yeah.
I do a little bit with Chris. But for Arthur and those things, it makes sense to me. It doesn't mean he has to be my favorite character, but it's certainly
it's serviceable enough. The story's interesting. Slink's great. Grace is great. The people who are making this show are having a lot of fun.
They're having a lot of fun.
And that's just, it's obvious in the product that comes out. It's just they're having a great time making this.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, tell us where they can find us.
Sure, they can find us on Twitter at TXPodMassacre. Go to our website, and there's some people leaving some comments at TexasPodcastMassacre.com. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on Facebook. Got a Facebook group going. And we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, make sure to join in on the conversation. Let us know what you think. We're also open for any suggestions. So we, about at the beginning of every month, we sit back and we do kind of our list for what we're going to do that month in our production schedule. So, August is pretty much kind of, we've worked through what we're going to do. But if you have suggestions, please write us. You can send us a message through through any of the things Nate just mentioned. And, help us deliver the show you want to hear.
Yeah, and I guess one last thing. We have our YouTube channels now live.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we're going to be publishing some kind of extra fun little videos with some songs, some parodies, all that kind of stuff, just for a little extra fun.
Yeah, so make sure to subscribe there as well. Again, I'm Mitch. Nate, awesome show. Thank you for spending 6 hours watching it. And Lisa will thank you for your contribution. Which, to be fair, has been
gone but not forgotten.
She's put in a lot of hard work on it, so we appreciate it. For all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.